Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
So
flies like that?
Again, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but the question is,
Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out. Thanks for providing
Curiosity
that,
kills the
Congressman.
cat. All right, Mr. Moore.
Congress just lied to the American public.
Why? What was the lie?
Oh, I submitted the IC document. Ask Rhyder, he'll tell you. But everybody sat there as they said he did. Why? Nancy Mace lied. Nancy Mace said Schellenberger gave her... Oh, I'm fucking going. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm fucking going to look everybody in the fucking eye. Yeah.
We are here. Woohoo!
Yo.
Woo!
What's up?
Sound
What's
check.
up?
What up, guys? Shout out real quick, Derek Dougherty with some fun music. Let's see. This one's fun, right? Hell yeah. Oh boy. Psionic Hedgehog says, hope everyone has a blessed weekend. Hug your loved ones and forget the sadness for a while. Looking forward to tonight's show with Comeback Kid. Hell yeah, Mike's here. Hell yeah. Stone Dave says, great advice. Lovely mod. Heather Birdie was able to make it for when I was bored and looking for something to watch. Oh, hell yeah, we're here. Nexus, hello. Courage First says, the search for truth is not about proving what we fear, but about daring to discover what we've never imagined. Zune says, much love. So our lovely panel here, I guess before we get started, any thoughts you have about the hearing you want to get out before we kind of run through some of the highlights here?
Hey, well, I'm just gonna say I'm really excited to be here, Panda. Thanks for having me, and I'm happy to be here with Terrestrial. I think for me, Knapp is the all-star of the show here. I know that might be a controversial take, but we'll see. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the hearing. It was very entertaining. I can't lie. I had a lot of fun. It ended up being like a lot of fun to see George Knapp get his shine, right? After all these years. I can't lie.
Oh, yeah.
It was interesting for that. I liked Dylan Borland, his testimony a lot. He seems to be a pretty credible guy. We'll have to see how things shake out with him down the road. And then, of course, Nuccetelli, his story, his personal story about the orb over his house really stuck out to me. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, dude. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I think we were all prepared. We were all like preparing ourselves to be disappointed, right? So that kind of factored in too. Although, I mean, we'll get into it right away, but it all kind of make or break on that video, right? If that video ends up being bunk, it could kind of, I don't know, could be kind of a setback. But I think overall it was hype. It was honestly, I personally think it was kind of a little more hype than the Grusch one. I don't know. Maybe we need to let some time settle for it to like really say that. But yeah, all right. Well, let's get into it. First things first was the video, right? We'll watch Burlison.
I want to cue up a video that I've been given. And as before it starts, I'm going to describe. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb or this object off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. That you cannot see that drone, and so I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does.
My God.
Let me see. Can I pause it? What were you guys thinking right here when he pulled out the video? I was like, oh, what the hell is going on here?
Like egg. All I could think was like egg-shaped UFO.
Yeah, I was getting the Go Fast 2.0 vibes really quick. It looked very, very similar. But yeah, the orb on the screen definitely looks a lot better than the Go Fast one, right? You get a little bit more definition at least. It's not a huge lot more, but it's still pretty interesting, yeah.
He didn't even hint, too, that there's about to be this whole other thing, bro. I was pretty shocked when I saw this. I was like, what the? You know what I mean? I was just expecting maybe just like this thing, like flying around. But then, yeah, we're about to get to the other thing. Let's see.
Bingo.
Boom. quick cut to Grusch.
This is when it zoomed out. So you can still see it traveling. So, Mr. Knapp, do you have you heard about, events like this occurring? And what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you.
You got Gerb, Matt Brown, Corbell. I don't know if you guys saw the thing I posted. Apparently, there was all this drama about like Jaime Maussan and Danny Sheehan cutting the line and stuff. But
Gerb was cheesing at that video. He was blown away. Did you see him in the background? He was really going it. Yeah, he was like, whoa.
And we talked to Estimate, who was there, like taking pictures on the little pit thing, and he was saying like the vibe when this video dropped. I mean, even watching it through the TV, I was like, what the hell? Like they're really like they're on their showman shit, in a good way. You know what I mean? They're like, boom, got to bring the goods, got to bring something. And I was telling Mike earlier, but I don't have it queued up. But I did right before this find the stream where they talked about it, and it was actually the Matt Brown third interview. But I don't think Matt Brown was in on it. But it's just interesting because now apparently there's all this stuff about like they're investigating how the video got leaked. Let's see, is there anywhere here?
The public should be seeing this stuff, and why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off, and it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah. What the hell is that? What
So again,
flies like that?
again, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but the question is, why are we being blocked from this information consistently? I want to ask this just question: how in the world?
Okay, so then we'll go. Luna had some questions about it too. She had it queued up. Let's see.
Okay, while this is still rolling, Mr. Nuccetelli, real quick yes or no answers. Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
Okay, does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out. Thanks for providing
Curiosity
that,
kills the
Congressman.
cat. All right, Mr. Borland?
Yes, for
Okay. All right, that is the end of my questioning. I'd like to now recognize Mr. Crane.
Here, I think it should pop up here. Let's see. Is it not going to play yet? No, fuck. There we go. Okay, so here's just the raw file for everyone while we talk about it. So what do you guys think about this video? And then after this, I'm going to play some of the surprising little debunker takes on it. But I don't know, we're a few days, what are we, like 4 days, 3 days after it? How are we feeling about it?
I'm still feeling good about it. I think in general, the video is pretty compelling that, this object continued to stay airborne after being hit and continued to, carry on some kind of trajectory. I mean, what that means, I don't know that any of the 5 observables are on display here, but it is a pretty compelling video nonetheless, and I don't think anybody's soundly debunked it yet.
Yeah,
you go for it.
Oh,
Yeah. No, you. Please.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I still like the video. I mean, I'm always, I don't know if it's because this, like ufology always does this to us. I try to hold a little bit of reservation, man, because, this stuff usually gets debunked, unfortunately. But this one, I think will go for a while, kind of similar to Gimbal, where we don't really have an answer for it. The more I've watched this video, the more I pick up on little things. Like when you see it hit right here in these 3 pieces of whatever you want to call them, debris or what have you, they do look very similar in size, and they do seem to kind of track along with it. That is interesting. It still is. The more and more you look at this, it kind of gets crazier. But I still will say this. I want to see the last 30 or 40 seconds like we're seeing right here. They need to get the extended version so we can say 100% this thing either was falling or it just really kept on cooking. Because if it kept on cooking, dude, I don't know. It's really wild video.
Yeah, and honestly, comparing to some of the other ones like Gimbal, Tic Tac, Go Fast, they're all pretty short, I feel like, compared to this. This one's already, I think, 50 seconds from beginning to end. And I guess just initial thoughts for me. We did see the little cut in when Burlison brought it out of Grusch, which is kind of another data point here, but I don't have like a whole slide for. But Grusch is kind of right behind Burlison, right, when they showed this video, and I feel like he co-signed it, right, or you know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of eyes that went into it. This idea, and here's another element too that we're not really going to discuss here, but I'm kind of prepping a whole little stream on the video alone. Is that like, what was it? Burlison said he was giving it to him right before the hearing or something like that, which I highly doubt. My personal take is I think it's a Corbell Knapp video that they're trying to do some like laundering of information about. Respect or like rightfully so, I guess, because they're probably afraid of getting in trouble. But I don't think they would like, what's the word? Like fumble it by having a video like this that's like quickly debunked, and it hasn't really been debunked. Yeah, what do you think?
So you're saying you think this comes from Knapp or Corbell possibly, and that
with the Grusch
they're using
co-sign.
Congress to launder their gray
it's
area
kind of like
videos?
It's the George Knapp weaponized stream, right? Like our hearing, a lot of the witnesses were there. It was basically Knapp's like. It would just seem so random if it wasn't. And also, like I was saying, right before this, I found the clip where they are talking about it. Screw it. Do you guys want to watch that? I could pull it up on Weaponized.
You can. I mean, I'll just say this. I mean, I think, he says he got it. Burlison says he got the video in a dead drop. I don't remember him saying exactly when. I just remember the when referring to when George got to see it prior to the hearing. But in my opinion, there had to have been a window of time for them to take a look at the video. I mean, you got to make sure something like this isn't classified if he's just going to put it out there, right? Burlison's going to. And then, of course, he mentions the second drone being in the video and you don't even see it. How does he know that? Is he really just going to like say that with no time looking into it?
Good catch.
And then also, if you look at the date and the time, and he says October, was it 20 of 24? I mean, anybody could have just wrote the date on that because it's just coming off the file itself. It's just a title of the file. So I don't know if he would just go all in on a random nothing, right, without any info. So I think they have had it for a little bit.
Yeah, I think they've had it too. And I think after, and I don't have this one pulled, but on my stream about just the video, we'll have all these little clips. I feel like I caught him, and I'm gonna have to go back and like double check. I feel like I caught him slipping on like when he first saw the video, even on the day of the hearing. I feel like at one point he said he had just seen it that day of, or like right then with everyone, and then like in the interview after, he said he had seen it like earlier that morning. And apparently I watched the night shift guys while I was prepping all my stuff, and they were saying that there was rumors even the night before that this was like gonna be a thing. So I feel like, you know what I mean. But here's the clip I found. It took not too long, but it had to be like kind of annoying about it. But let's see.
Okay. You ever see any videos where
it's from Matt Brown's third interview on Weaponized? I think it aired in March of this year.
we're engaging with them, either we're chasing them, our warplanes or something, or going after a disc, a saucer, an orb, or something like that?
So I've seen videos and read reports of engagements, but not live, like we're not shooting them, but engagements where, you know, either we are trying to intercept something, read lots of reports on that, and from other countries as well, trying to intercept these things. You know, each report will have its own shape that they're chasing, but guess what they are. But then, yeah, when there's an example in there off the East Coast, what would be classed as an engagement, where we're up there protecting our airspace and encountering these things and interacting with them in a way that we would consider hostile. And if it was anything else, you know, if we had a Russian bomber patrol that had a fighter escort and they tried to box our fighters out, force them down from the wash, the jet wash, you know, that would be a hostile engagement. But for whatever reason, you know, we're not describing it that way internally.
So we're sending a plane up to take a look.
Yeah.
Maybe get a better look or even some imagery.
But not to engage, meaning shoot it down, shoot a sidewinder at it or something.
Right. I would, I'm not going to be able to say that's never happened, but I have not seen them engaged. With weapons.
Well, it recently happened, and we became aware of one. More details on that, I think, we'll report on. And what happened was the missile, quote, bounced off. And so they're trying to figure that out. But what does that imply? Like a field around it? I don't know. We also released one that was so embarrassing to release. We had to call it looked like Kermit the Frog. I think we called it Syria Dome UAP. But the reason we released it because verified, we tried to engage it. We tried to shoot it. And I believe we hit it, but we don't know the aftermath or what happened to that. We reported on that.
So yeah, there was that little throwaway line where they talked about it. Any thoughts on that?
I feel like he's seen that video. No,
right? Yeah.
Does he really talk about stuff like that without seeing something? Like, I don't believe everything he says all the time, man. But you can kind of see it on him, right?
Remember, I'm a journalist. It can't be there. It's on their mind, so I could see why they would want to launder, obfuscate how it got out.
Unless, of course, Grusch had access to this and he kind of told them about it. You know what I mean? It's
true. Well, also they're on Rogan,
to
right?
that way.
This is like Rogan's UFO guy, right? So if there's some dude in the military who's not into UFOs at all, but they're like Joe Rogan, right? Like listen to some good bro podcast. I could see how they could be funneled a bunch of stuff from people like that. You know what I mean?
I agree, though, Mike. It could be from Grusch, and he could have told them it's really Grusch's video. That's been a lot of people's speculation that some of those videos have been coming through from him. So, yeah, I agree. It could be.
Grusch, that's already, this is allegedly from 2024, right? Some other data points I wanted to just throw out there, just thinking out loud about this video is, and I heard discussion about it, it's these missiles are pretty expensive, right? And, I don't know. How common is it for us to just shoot Hellfire missiles at balloons? I'd love to know that.
I will say this too about Hellfire missiles is I've done some cursory research on them, and they're mainly air-to-ground weapons, but they can be used in air-to-air engagements. So this means this missile was, again, they even confirmed it in Congress, I think, was fired from the drone itself. Maybe not the same drone taking the footage, but fired from a drone. And these missiles are very slow moving. They don't move very fast. So they are not made to hit very fast moving objects. So this object is not moving fast. I think we can all kind of agree from the video it's not moving that fast. But
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just good to know that these Hellfire missiles are very, very rarely used in air-to-air situations. So this was a very bizarre situation.
I heard some people saying too that this is like a CIA, the CIA uses this more than most people, and apparently has cameras too. But okay, let's just run with it. I just had these thoughts, when the day of the hearing, right? It was all exciting, but let's just run with it. That this is as presented, right? It shows a lot of things, right? We try to kill one, right? People could dance around that all they want, but is there any other way to view that? Was that not the intent there?
I don't view it as a kill, though. I think that when people talk about that ninja version of the Hellfire, that makes sense. I think it's more to knock it out of the sky, dude, and then recover it. That's what it looks like to me. They would.
But even then, that's such a variable, and it's if that happened to a human craft, we all know what that would mean, right? I don't know. So maybe you're right, but to me, when I saw it, I was once the rush of oh my god, this is a great hearing. I was damn, look at, they're telling us we tried to kill one of these things and we couldn't kill it. That's the vibe I got. And then also when I think about all the stuff Burlison and Luna are saying about angels and stuff, I'm literally going, is this an angel? Are we watching an angel right now? It has to be asked, right? All this angel talk in the back channels. We got Grusch recommending people who summon angels. Luna's posting about angels every other day. Burlison, word on the street is he thinks these things are angels. And I'm sure they've seen this video, right?
So what are you saying? Hellfire is no match for an angel?
Well, and that is funny that the words came up like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? It might get debunked. Who knows? Let's not get too excited just in case, because I guess that's a good segue for our next part. Oh, we got the music again too. But here we go. Here's Ryan Graves. With the music, I get to read it. Oh yeah. After further review, it is conceivable that the video is a prosaic target struck by a missile. Chunks broke off, stabilized in the main airstream, and began parabolic descent that is generally aligned with the camera angle, making the target aspect change nearly imperceptible as it descends. We had a longer video, we may see the components. If we had a longer video, we may see the components impact the water surface eventually. Without source details, can't say more. I'm aware of much longer videos with clearly anomalous behaviors captured by the same MQ-9 platforms in other parts of the world. The witness is willing to come forward and the videos are accessible through proper channels. And let me see, I think I could go mute that other thing. Okay, let's see, is it? Okay, great. And then what do you got? Chris Lehto here, he says, sorry, the new Hellfire missile UAP video is obviously a balloon. We should be talking about the Jackson Tic Tac or Borland sighting or the USSR UFO investigations. Instead, we're talking about balloons again. So again, I don't really know. I just wanted to include this to just say that there is still a debate. It's not really as conclusive as like when Lou put up the crop circle or the chandelier, right? But, you know, and I would say both of these people aren't even skeptics, right? Both of these people are like low-key true believers and pilots, right? So just something to consider. I don't know. What do you guys think about this from some of the pilots in the community?
I think it's something to really take into consideration that both of these gentlemen have spent a lot of time in their professional careers looking at these screens, right? Especially, you know, I mean, Ryan, I think Ryan has had other jobs involved in like command control centers too. So I think reasonably, you know, you have to take into account that there are expertise opinions of people who believe in UFOs that are going, this is kind of prosaic.
Yeah, it is really interesting. What stands out to me from what he says is the chunks broke off, stabilized in the airstream. I don't know what debris personally looks like in the airstream, so I'd have to look at something like that. That intrigues me because I'm like, man, he could be right. It might be able to kind of float like that for a little while. I'm not sure. It's interesting.
You would think that Grusch would have to like, what's the word? Check all his T's or cross all his I's.
The cross-reference?
Yeah, like just do the due diligence to make sure. I mean, I'm sure he probably would have sent this to Ryan. Maybe not, it sounds like. That's kind of odd. But yeah, so there's that one. I guess we'll continue along. I'm going to be doing a longer stream about the video, so like where we get all the little data points. But just for now, that was interesting, right? Overall, we're feeling good about it still. How are you feeling again?
Great.
The video. Great?
Yeah.
It also got a lot of good mainstream news coverage and stuff like that. It's sent on TikTok. It passed up my Hunter Biden is the Oppenheimer of crack edit. Is my most viewed TikTok now. My little edit I made. But yeah, let's see what we got next.
My name is Alexander.
Now we're into Navy Chief Wiggins. So we're going to listen to his. And again, this is an interesting thing. Another video, right? It kind of got slept on. There's like 2 videos in this hearing, although this one did kind of come out on Weaponized. But still, let's hear him out.
Alexander Wiggins. I'm an active duty U.S. Navy Operations Specialist, Senior Chief Petty Officer. Father of 3 and dedicated American testifying today in my personal capacity. The views I share are my own, and I do not represent the official positions of the Department of the Navy or any subordinate organization. On the evening of February 15th, 2023, at approximately 19:15 PST, in the Whiskey 291 warning area off the coast of Southern California, I was serving on board USS Jackson. During that period, I moved between the Interior Communications Center, ICC-1, and the bridge wing, correlating the sensor picture with visual observations, part of my routine responsibilities for surface and air picture management. What I observed and what our crew recorded was not consistent with conventional aircraft or drones as they appear on our system. A self-luminous tic-tac shaped object emerged from the ocean before linking up with 3 other similar objects. The 4 then disappeared simultaneously with a high synchronized, near instantaneous acceleration. I observed no sonic boom and no conventional propulsion signatures. No exhaust plume, no control surface articulation on the Sapphire image system. Shortly after the synchronized departure, radar tracks dropped. These observations were multi-sensor and recorded inside of ICC-1 with time location overlay visible in our source frames that have been made public by journalists. From my experience operating in this region over many years, and consistent with our public characterized encounters. Unidentified objects reoccur in United States operation areas off Southern California.
All right, so what do you guys think about that one? And him as guest as a witness.
I think Wiggins is definitely a compelling witness. The video is okay. It reminds me of the Chilean UFO video that Leslie Keane had covered.
Oh yeah.
So you know, it's it could be argument that it's just a plane. You know, I don't know, but I'd have to see the background of the video and dive into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean the video, I mean it's cool, I guess. It kind of looks like the Tic Tac from the Tic Tac video, right? A little bit. It's moving around. I don't know. You know, it could be a drone out there or whatever. You know, the one thing I didn't really care about his story is that he keeps kind of, in my opinion, going back and forth on whether or not he really seen it come out of the water or not. I mean, I could be just remembering it wrong. It feels like that. He's not really super confident. There's times where he's like, well, I don't really know if it just looks like that because it's at night. And so I don't know. The transmedium travel from it seems to be up in the air for me with it. But he seems himself genuine, right? I don't get a sense from that he's lying or anything like that at all. So it's an interesting story. It's just, you know, it's another story with a kind of cool video, I guess.
Video, yeah. And also this one, like the other one, what I like about this is 2023, right? Also an interesting data point, right? Right near the OG Tic Tac, right off the coast of San Diego. Probably near Catalina or something like that. So interesting data point. But yeah, this one and then the other one was 2024. So I like that compared to what the Grusch hearing, right? I mean, Tic Tac's cool, but that was like what, 2004? And then the other one was what, 2014, the Gimbal and Go Fast. So it's kind of interesting that like these are how recent they are compared to like previous things. But something else I found interesting was his whole Navy thing. Let's watch this.
Once I got the okay from the Navy from top down, that gave me a level of relief. Prior to that, I didn't have any thought left or right of that, but thank the Navy to give me the go ahead, and that gave me the relief that I would not have any level of reprisal or anything happen to me.
So yeah, he said, and he made it clear to say that he's not speaking on behalf of the Navy or anything, but this is the first active duty military witness to do one of these hearings. And we're not like, some people say 3, I kind of say 4 if you count the first Moultrie one. But yeah, he says he's operating on his behalf, but I mean, the Navy definitely probably approved everything he's saying. And the Navy's historically, I feel like, been kind of leading the way in terms of like an official organization kind of being open to this. They updated their Navy guidelines or their UFO reporting guidelines in like 2018, pretty early on. And then in 2020, they were the ones who confirmed that those initial 3 videos were like filmed with Navy platforms and whatnot. So I don't know. Do you guys think, am I reading too into this, or is it kind of a big milestone, quote unquote, that there's an active duty dude testifying about this whole situation? Like, even if it's not totally co-signed, if they didn't want him to do it, he wouldn't be doing it. It's kind of how I feel about that. Yeah. Let's see. UFO Playlist says, I wish Wiggins would have given more detail on the process of how he got that video declassified, released. Maybe I missed some of those details. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool to learn more about that. But yeah, if not, I'll just go ahead and continue along here. What do we got next? Okay, now we're on to Nuccatelli, is how I've heard how it's pronounced. Nuccatelli.
My name is Jeffrey Nuccetelli. I'm a former military police officer with 16 years of active duty service in the U.S. Air Force. I'm here today because the American people have both the right and the responsibility to know the truth about unidentified aerial phenomenon. That truth remains hidden, classified and silenced by fear, retaliation, stigma, and confusion. Today, we are here to help break that silence. Between 2003 and 2005, 5 UAP incidents occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base, home to the National Missile Defense Project, a top national security priority. At the time, we were conducting launches deemed by the National Reconnaissance Office as the most important in 25 years. These were historic launches. These facilities were vital, and they were repeatedly visited by UAP. Each incident was witnessed by multiple personnel, documented, investigated, and reported up the chain of command. We sent information up, but we got no guidance down on how to handle these events. I personally witnessed one of these events and investigated others as they occurred. 6 other service members have provided me with the information that I will share with you today. The incursions began on October 14th, 2003, when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. After several minutes, it drifted further east onto the base and vanished over the hills. This event, now known as the Vandenberg Red Square, was referenced by Representative Luna at the first hearing on this topic. Official Air Force records of this event are in possession by Aero and the FBI. Later that night, while I was on duty, security guards at a critical launch site reported a bright, fast-moving object over the ocean. I responded to the incident. Chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly. I heard my friends screaming, "It's coming right at us, it's coming right for us, and now it's right here." Moments later, I heard them say that it had shot off and was gone. When I arrived on scene, I talked to 5 shaken witnesses who described a massive triangular craft larger than a football field that hovered silently for about 45 seconds over their entry control point before shooting away at impossible speed. About a week later, another patrol reported a light over the ocean behaving erratically. Believing it might be an unannounced aircraft, they declared an emergency, and an armed response force responded. Before the forces could arrive, the object descended and either landed or hovered on our flight line and then took off again at impossible speed. The witnesses to this event were threatened and intimidated afterward. They were told to keep quiet and think about what they were reporting. After that, things did get quiet.
I'm gonna play this too real quick.
My next move, I went into my house after it
So
left.
this is big. So I kind of messed up the editing or cutting it up here, but I forget after which one of these, and maybe someone in the chat knows, by all means, let us know. But after one of these events, because he was Air Force, like security forces, which is like their police, and so he was
Yeah, he was like a police officer.
There was an orb above his own house, right? He said after one of these events. And
I think it's right here. I think it's right here.
Yeah, maybe it is, but I might have just cut it a little too early, but in case not. But the milestone here was that first time abductions getting mentioned in one of these things, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see.
Real quick before you play this, Red.
I made sure.
Real quick. Wouldn't it have been awesome if we could have got the comms of his friend, like Rendlesham style over there? It's close.
Oh, yeah.
Coming. God, I wish we had that, man.
I wonder what else he's sitting on, because I think this dude's been activated since the events, and like he's done a lot. I actually talked to him on a UFO Twitter Week space like a month ago, and he was saying how he's like done a lot to like kind of like corral a lot of the people, because this event's from 2003, and it's interesting they're getting reprised against. But to basically get a bunch of the witnesses from that event, and he apparently has a bunch of I think they have like a police thing or something, at least the transcript of it, of the police dispatch during that time. So
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
that would be cool to get. All right, let's see here.
No one had been abducted, and I picked up the landline. I called the Security Forces Command Center. I reported it. I requested that they. My next move, I went into my house after it left. I made sure no one had been abducted, and I picked up the landline. I called the Security Forces Command Center. I reported it. I requested that they give me a call back and make notifications up the chain of command. I got a call back in about 15 minutes. They reported that the weather station reported no balloons or aircraft, nothing on radar, no aircraft inbound or outbound. So I got that notification. And then within the following
Look at Sheehan just sitting there being like, yeah, I didn't wait in line.
day or two, me and the other witnesses wrote statements. We prepared a report, and then we filed all that information.
Madam Chairman, thank you for your indulgence in my questioning, and thank you for continuing to lead on this subject. What do you and your friends think about it today? You all have talked about it. I mean, so what do you think about your experience as a collective group? That'll be my last question, Madam Chairman.
I mean, we've been talking about this for 20 years. We don't know what we saw. What we saw changed our lives and the way we think about everything. It was incredibly profound. The object I saw, I don't even know if it was an object. It was a light. It was an orb. It didn't look like a craft, but it did look solid. And that's what we talk about. We noticed the object, and this was a pattern across all the encounters. Someone would see a light. They would pay attention to the light. And then the object responds. It performs for you. And then they come down and they investigate you. So it's almost like they're curious. So that's the thing we primarily talk about. Why did it come after we noticed it? Maybe it noticed us after we noticed it.
Wow, Red, you remember when Tom DeLonge was talking about, he goes, when he's talking about C5, he goes, it knows you want to see it so bad, it's going to perform for you. Remember that? He's saying the same kind of interesting thing there.
How long have they all been connected, you think?
I don't know.
That's always my biggest fear with these things. That I'm gonna like be like, yeah, that dude seems real cool, and then learn that he was a Scientologist with Pudov and the boys, and you know what I mean, like back in the day. Yeah, but no, that's a good point too, because not only did he bring up abductions, but he brought up consciousness there, right? Which I don't know if it's really been overtly brought up before in these.
Luna asked that one question. She said, consciousness have something to do with like how the craft functions. There was some sort of question like that. I think that was at the Elizondo hearing.
Yeah, and I will say too, just to the abduction thing, and what I do appreciate, and honestly, because I'm like a doomer with a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? To be honest, I do think some of these things are not helpful to humans and whatnot. So I do appreciate them being real about some things, and like I do think people get abducted, and it's not a pretty thing. Maybe some of them never come back. And, so I guess that just being added to the conversation. And there was a few of these little points that happened where, if you really sit back and, a lot of us were excited on the day of, but like I said, with the Hellfire missile one, like we tried to kill one of them and we couldn't. This dude's talking about abductions. George Knapp talks about a few kind of concerning things, but with the nice little cushion of it happened over in Russia. You know what I mean? But I feel like we're inching more and more towards like this, like just like acknowledging the doomerism parts of this conversation.
Yeah, it stood out when he talked about looking around to see if anyone was abducted. I was like, whoa, we're getting there with it.
We're there. What do you think, Mike? You're a big abductee guy, aren't you? You love that.
Yeah, I think this is this is definitely something that is going to be hard to talk about with other people and have them take it seriously, especially in a congressional setting. You can already hear from the Democrats that they led off in a way that was just a big turnoff to the whole UFO thing. They said there's no NASA studies have concluded no evidence that ET craft or ETs are involved with UAP. But at the end of the day here, we're facing stories of abduction, if we're to believe people like Jeff and others, that you have to kind of admit that this is a really, really disturbing conversation.
Oh, yeah. Missing 411. And I will say, too, for him and Wiggins, and I guess all of them. Well, I didn't cover the Pogo guy or any of that stuff, to be honest. But he seems like a respectable dude, stand-up dude, right? I appreciate what he's doing. It seems like he's also trying to help other people, like who are witnesses, and trying to help funnel them, and you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It seems like a good dude. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I had a sighting in 2016 of two orbs, so like I can see it on him. I had similar feelings, like you feel like to look up, you get those feelings and stuff. So I understand what he means. So to me, he comes off as genuine. I'm sure he probably seen what he said he's seen.
Yeah, I think he's a genuine person. So I think it's kind of easy to take his story to the bank.
Yeah, and it'd be cool too if maybe on Weaponized or something they do a roundtable with some of these other witnesses he's talked about. All right, let's see what we got next here. Okay, so I should have put this on earlier, but just, I didn't really have a clip for it. Had I had more time, I probably would have done a little super cut. But Grusch was there. For the first time, we saw him alive, right? And not only was he there, Burlison in the infamous Tupa space, right? He helped kind of facilitate the whole thing. So I just think that kind of has to be remembered, I'm sure he co-signed all these different witnesses. I'm sure he co-signed the video. What did you guys think when you saw Grusch alive with a beard now?
Hallelujah. That's all I could think, man. It was thank goodness he's here. Thank goodness he's talking to Burlison. And I have to agree. I think most of what was said there and Burlison is, sorry, is definitely backed up by Grusch. And I would say, you know, anything that you hear coming from Burlison's mouth probably have Grusch's approval on it.
That's the vibe I get too, right? What do you think, Terrestrial?
Yeah, I agree. I think Grusch is running a lot of the show. I think that he's kind of the point man around there for it. I mean, whether you think that's good or bad, not going to comment on that really. That's not really my point, but like, I think he's running it, and he definitely looked all business when he was there. Grusch looked ready to go all business.
I don't even think he was there the whole time. He like popped in, he stood behind Bobert and Burleson for like a half second. Didn't really say anything. We'll jump over here real quick because this was interesting that happened right before the hearing. Let's just watch it real quick. Okay.
We have some good testimony from witnesses. Not to mention, again, you should ask Grusch about the weird incident that happened prior to him going into the skiff with me and Representative Burleson. Something happened as he was driving in to do a VTC with us. So it's very interesting kind of handling this topic. Obviously, you know, anytime someone says, no, don't look there, you know me, Cuomo, I always tend to look and see what we can find. And what I can tell you is, you know, there are many people from all across the DOD, across the entire U.S. government. Over 30 people, to include our own Secretary of State, have come forward and said, you know, there's something here. And so I think to question it, to look at the evidence, and then decide for yourself what you have to see on the matter.
Joe Khalil, News Nation, got us the reporting. You can't just throw the Grusch thing out there like that and not tell me.
Hey, that's a good
what
one.
do you know
Good one,
about it?
Cuomo,
And
on
why
that
do
one.
I have to ask him? Do you know what it is?
Because I don't want to take that away from him, and law enforcement is involved. But in my opinion, if you are going to brandish any weapons at congressional staffers, it's very alarming, and I will leave it at that. But what I can tell you is it was very interesting in timing, and based on what we've heard previously with some of these witnesses, to include some witness testimony that you'll hear tomorrow, this is not the first documented case of this, which is incredibly important as to how do we address this in the future. First of all, whistleblower protections need to be a lot stronger. We also have different UAP legislation where these members of Congress are coming together. And I do think that also, you know, there's a lot going on in the Hill. As you know, Cuomo, there's a lot of partisan stuff, but this is one of the few bipartisan things that we've been collectively able to work on together.
I'm going to go back just real quick. Let me see to where she says.
But in my opinion, if you are going to brandish any weapons at congressional staffers, it's very alarming. And
So yeah, that was like days before the hearing where allegedly, I guess, what does it sound like to you guys? Somebody went up to Grusch and showed their gun?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
odd.
brandishing a firearm is usually the term I hear. You don't, I mean, but you could brandish a knife, right? There's other things you can brandish, but yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like somebody tried to intimidate Grusch.
Yeah, right. Because it's like the person was already right there. I guess what they just didn't want all the publicity if they actually did kill him. It's like, why not just? Obviously, I don't want this to happen, but if somebody's willing to go through all the effort of like, I'm going to show you a gun IRL a week before the hearing, you'd think they would just kill him. No, I feel like they wanted him to be like scared or agitated. And I'm not saying that what happened, if that's exactly how it went down, like that's horrible to happen to anyone. But I'm just more curious about like who the hell is on the other end of this? Do you guys have any guesses on that? Who's on the other end of this alleged brandishing of a weapon to Grusch the week of the hearing?
Intelligence community.
Swan? I'm just kidding.
I knew you were gonna go.
Had to. How could I not?
Yeah, no, I get it. I do think it's quite convenient. I mean, when you look at this hearing, there were like two really big themes, right? It was very anti-aero and it was very whistleblower protection. So it's a really good thing to point at, right? But before you kind of go into this hearing, right? So it's interesting for that. I thought it was interesting that she said that the law enforcement is involved. So maybe they arrested the guy. Maybe we'll get some report at some point. You can kind of tie it back. Maybe time will tell.
CSI says Lou probably paid someone, just saying.
Drone sightings have been reported above critical infrastructure. He added that their presence appears nefarious in nature.
I don't know who could have possibly done this.
And it gets even worse. Some of the FBI.
Sifa Lou on his way to run ops on poor Grusch. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think. I mean, honestly, though, who the hell knows? But that is actually concerning, though, if that did happen. Like, imagine if that event actually was like they shot him. You know what I mean? That'd be crazy. Hopefully it like settles down there. But yeah, I mean, this field is very weird. I can only imagine how weird it is for them. I believe that probably did happen. Okay, we'll continue along here.
From 2011
Dylan
to
Borland, here we go.
2013, I was stationed at Langley Air Force Base, Virginia, conducting 20.
So now, to be clear, though, people are saying this isn't the video, but the years line up, and I guess for me, before we go into it, like I don't really get what the meat and potatoes is with him is, and I mean that respectfully. You know what I mean? I feel like honestly, if we're being honest, they probably all have more information about him that we don't have, right? I feel like if Grusch only had the information we had, you know what I mean? So I'm just curious what it is that makes all these people like, all right, you're going to be the dude up there, because he was the only one who saw it, right? You know what I mean? He was no video, or did he have a video? I don't know, but any thoughts?
No, I mean, Red, he's talking about connections to like what crash retrieval programs. Understand what's going on with that, right? I mean, and he's kind of on his own for that we know of, that he's not really connected to the usual people that are around this. I mean, I think that was a big reason why. I mean, Burlison said they wanted like a firsthand person who wasn't connected to the usual people you see. So I assume that's why.
And I guess that's cool. Let's let it ride here.
24-hour operations via manned and unmanned aerial vehicles for Special Operations Forces in the global war on terror. During the summer of 2012, my team was on standby for weather, and I returned to my barracks on base, and at approximately 0130, I saw an approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle take off from near the NASA hangar on the base. The craft interfered with my telephone, did not have any sound, and the material it was made of appeared fluid or dynamic. I was under this triangular craft for a few minutes, and then it rapidly ascended to commercial jet level in seconds, displaying zero kinetic disturbance, sound, or wind displacement. Some years after that experience, I was further exposed to classified.
Okay, hold up. Before we get into that part, because that's another interesting. I'll just say, and I think you were telling me, Trista, right? I'm not saying it's real. It looks fake, but I've just never seen it debunked. DeLong is convinced it's real, and Hal Puthoff is convinced it's real. And Trista, weren't you saying that in the Secret Machines book that like the craft is basically just like in this video?
Yeah, Tom even mentions that in the Rogan interview. He goes, when he first plays the video, he's like, I'm not going to say a whole lot, but that's the ship that's in my book. And that's when he's referencing the Secret Machines book. Yeah.
The 2012, I'm just saying, I don't know. I guess we'll let it ride here, because this is the other part that you were saying where it's like, so I guess, but here's what's weird for me. I guess I'm just thinking aloud. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him. He was getting all these reprisals because he saw a TR-3B allegedly, but then he got brought into like a crash retrieval thing after, and then got more reprisals. Isn't that kind of odd, the timeline here?
Urban sound or wind displacement. Some years after that experience, I was further exposed to classified information from the UAP legacy crash retrieval program through a sensitive position I held within a special access program. During this time,
so from what I got from Sawan, funnily enough, actually, he was saying that that's kind of the meat and potatoes of why, like, you know what I mean, the whole little disclosure industrial complex is like, you're the guy who should whistleblow that. And we'll run it back one more time.
After that experience, I was further exposed to classified information from the UAP legacy crash retrieval program through a sensitive position I held within a special access program. During this time, intelligence officers approached me in fear for their own careers, citing misconduct within these programs and similar retaliation that I was already enduring at this time. These issues include medical malpractice committed by Veterans Affairs staff, denial of work I performed while enlisted in the United States Air Force, forged and manipulated employment documents, workplace harassment, including colleagues being directed to not speak with me, manipulation of my security clearance by certain agencies, blocking, delaying, and ultimately removing my ability to be employed within the IC. The retaliation I face and the retaliation against individuals I know who worked in these programs is what convinced me in March 2023 to become a whistleblower. I came forward out of concern for people's lives and to ensure I did everything I could to let our elected representatives know the truth about what is really happening in the executive branch. At the end of March 2023, I agreed to meet with Arrow following the suggestion of other federal officials believing it was what our nation required of me. I had reservations with Arrow due to assessments they were reporting publicly at the time as a misrepresentation of the truth. Because of these concerns, I did not share sources and methods information in order to protect current and former federal personnel who had firsthand exposure to technologies of unknown origin. I did not want anyone to face further retaliation beyond what they had already endured. And unfortunately, a staff member ended up getting in some trouble because of that. After David Grusch testified under oath in the summer of 2023 and provided historic disclosure, I was then asked to go to the ICIG and did so in August 2023. It was very clear early on during my intake interview, which was video recorded under oath, that the objective was to solely assess how much I know and not move forward with an investigation with new information I provided them. The aftermath of that IG complaint still troubles me to this day. Since my ICIG complaint, I've been prevented from resuming prior employment and can confirm I'm still blacklisted from certain agencies within the intelligence community. In addition, multiple agencies attempted phishing attacks to assess what I had divulged to the Inspector General, including being
I'm just saying, I know somebody else who does phishing attacks, or their little fan club does. Just saying.
asked to disclose details of my ICIG complaint during a CI polygraph for a position unrelated to UFO UAP matters as recently as November 2024. As I sit before you today, I and many other whistleblowers have no job prospects, no foreseeable professional future, and a nation every single one of us came forward to defend. Numerous individuals have come forward in various ways to reveal the truth of the UAP reality as patriots and defenders of our nation. Yet many feel discarded, isolated, hopeless, separated from the country they serve. Efforts to rectify this situation for all whistleblowers have been difficult and troubling. And to my fellow whistleblowers and officials who know this information, I offer you my apology, something that I have never gotten, and I'm giving it to you. I swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States, an oath that demands truth and transparency for our democratic republic to function. Each day, these truths remain hidden from our citizens. Humanity drifts further from the principles our nation was founded to uphold. Each day, victims of crimes committed by agencies and companies maintaining this secrecy are denied justice as another day our Constitution is shredded.
Kind of Matthew Brownie.
In 2023, Patriots provided this committee.
And that's the other thing too, where I get like, again, not trying to be a dick to anyone, blah, blah, but it's just Lou, really. It's like, I feel like what was the phrasing I was using? I don't like to cash blank checks on this kind of stuff. I just want to know more about it before I like emotionally invest, right? And this guy doesn't seem like a Lou, but it's like, there are people like Lou who have totally like manipulated the like, I'm being threatened thing. Like, you know what I mean? I think I've covered it a few times on this channel. Like there's a clear time where Lou was like, my life's in danger. Like if you see me in the news, like I don't do drugs, I'm not suicidal. And then Danny Sheehan, his lawyer at the time, came in a space and was like, yeah, Lou kind of jumped the gun with that. There was really nothing related to him. So I'm just saying, stuff like that does happen. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
The medical malpracticing was kind of weird. Mike, do you have any idea on that at all? Like, what do you think when he says that?
I know some people have talked about the VA, right? And I mean, that sounds like something that was committed by a clinician. I don't think this was something that was done by someone who's some sort of, administrative terrorism. It sounds like somebody maybe made a mistake in the VA, and which, I've worked with the VA before, and, mistakes get made. It's not the most perfect organization. I think the people that are involved in it mean well, but, I don't know. I really can't say for sure, other than it was probably a clinical scenario.
Yeah, he's an interesting story. That's for sure. He's like, him and Knapp are kind of the standouts for me. The triangle story, I don't know. I just think that there's something to the triangles. Whether that's like alien or art stuff, I lean more towards it's us. I mean, it's typically throughout the lore, it's usually more leaning towards us, right? TR3B, et cetera, et cetera.
Sometimes, I mean, if you listen to people like Terry Lovelace is I'm sure you've heard his story, and that was, again, a triangle craft that abducted them.
Yeah, it's there. But even like a lot in the 80s and the 90s too. I mean, that's when we start to hear a lot of stuff from Fouché, and of course the B2 starts to come around those days. And I don't know. If anything, I think they're getting close to talking about that. And so that's another reason why I think that he's on this panel too. I mean, Burlison seems to be talking about the B2 and technology being involved there, being very advanced. And I don't know. I just think it's coming, man.
Yeah. And to what you said, Tristro, I think this goes along with that. Let's see this real quick.
And do you think that, in your opinion, that the equilateral triangle was the U.S. government's technology?
I did once upon a time, but knowing what I know now, I'll have to answer that question in a skiff probably.
My next question is, you teased us. So knowing what you know now means what?
I know enough to know that if you want an answer to that question, go to ERA. They have the answer.
Do you think it was a foreign government?
I do not. No.
And Arrow is supposed to be disclosing. The last time I was in a skiff with Arrow, they said they were going to be doing disclosures. Had they been doing much of that?
I don't have an answer to you I don't know. I know what Arrow reports publicly, and I know what I've been through.
Yeah.
Real quick, Red, before she gets past this too far, it is interesting that he says he doesn't think it's adversarial because Tim Phillips, when he did that interview with Greenstreet, the former director of Arrow there for a bit, he says he thinks it is. That he thinks it is an adversary. So that's a little contradiction there
honestly,
between him and Arrow.
When I was going through it, and I'll have to go back and check. I feel like there might be a thing where Borland himself in this very hearing says like two different things for the triangle. When someone else asked him about it, so I need to go back
he
and double
does.
check. He does, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of odd, is it not?
Yeah, no, it is. I think I'm trying to find
Maybe
it.
he just misspoke or something.
Well, he just says he thinks there's 100% government involvement in that. And that's why it's like he leaves it kind of open to where, like, what does he mean by that? Because she says, do you think it's our tech? And he says, well, what? Not ever since what I've learned. Does that just mean that he thinks it's reverse engineered or it's completely not us? It's really left open to kind of your interpretation with it.
Yeah, and I get he's walking a tightrope, but I do get a sense of a little bit, and I'm not even knocking Matthew Brown, but like what's the word? The edginess, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, with the vagueness and the I don't know. I don't know. Praying
he
for
wants
him.
to say more though. You can tell throughout this whole thing. He's edging on the edge of his seat, man. You can see multiple times he wants to answer.
Yeah, he's holding back.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
The executive branch with undeniable proof of the UAP reality, and I commend your continued commitment. The future of humanity is one which we either travel to the stars or regress to the Stone Age with this technology. My career has been to deliver critical information to decision makers.
Okay, so now we'll get to the next one. This is an interesting one.
Under what authority would a member of Congress be restricted from accessing information on this topic, even within a skiff?
I would suggest reaching out to Director Gabbard and speaking with her about that.
Oh, looky, there's another one, dude. You cut everyone in line right before the thing, bro.
I'm hopeful that this goes back to the executive branch and who even has authority. Unfortunately, I can't give you a 100% solid answer because I don't even have that knowledge.
Under what authority would a member of Congress be restricted from accessing information on this topic, even within a skiff?
I would suggest reaching out to Director Gabbard and speaking with her about that. I'm hopeful that this goes back to the executive branch and who even has authority. Unfortunately, I can't give you a 100% solid answer because I don't even have
So
that
this is an
knowledge.
interesting response from him, given us
Under
this is Gabbard in August.
UFOs. There's been a lot of. My husband is in the corner, for the record, pumping his fist right now that you're asking this question.
I don't know why this audio is so funny.
I mean, is there anything? We've had some declassification of some very strange videos that look like they are, unidentified flying objects. Is there anything in the files that you think you could find or you have found?
Nothing that I'm prepared to talk about today. We are I'm just going to say this. We're continuing to look for the truth and share that truth with the American people.
The truth is out there.
Yes, it is.
So do you believe that there could be aliens?
I honestly, like, my personal belief, I have my own views and opinions.
Right.
In this role, I got to be careful with what I share.
Very interesting.
and I'm laughing. My husband's laughing in the corner because we have these same conversations, and obviously I don't share any classified information. Outside of my building with those who have clearances, but it's.
I don't know why the audio was so funky, but that was a few months ago, and that was pretty big. That's Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. You know what I mean? Yeah, she was raised in this like weird cult in Hawaii, so I'm sure she's got all kinds of esoteric beliefs about all this stuff. But interesting that Borland mentioned her, right?
Yeah, and Panda, to remember too that the suspicion that these legacy programs or a legacy program that exists is housed under the executive branch. So,
So you made that tie in again too, right? We're hearing more and more about that. So that was cool from Borland. You know what I mean? We'll continue along here then.
Mr. Borland,
This is interesting too.
in the classified realm, have you been exposed to undeniable confirmation of NHI technology? And then my second question is BAE Systems involved in any way with reverse engineering exploitation of non-human intelligence craft?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a conversation this skip for that. Whether I'm legally even allowed to answer that, and whether you're even allowed to hear it, sir.
Okay. Again, you can sense our frustration.
Let's read that question back.
Mr. Borland, in the classified realm, have you been exposed to undeniable confirmation of NHI technology? And then my second question is BAE Systems involved in any way with reverse engineering exploitation of non-human intelligence?
So is BAE Systems involved? What's interesting is he used to work there. I believe Ryan Graves used to work there, might even still work there. And Jolly used to work there. So it's an interesting question coming from him, is it not, right? Have you guys ever heard anything about BAE Systems in relation to all this hoopla?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What have you heard, Mike?
Well, I mean, just similar, that they would be heavily involved with this kind of research. And I want to say, like, I'm not even sure if Phil Corso has mentioned them, but they've been mentioned by other whistleblowers in the past about, being one of the core producers of reproduction vehicles.
Of ARVs, like a specific like that thing?
Yeah.
Interesting. Trish, any thoughts on this? If not, we'll just.
So we got the sports model right there underneath bed.
Yeah, I was like, I need some schematics of something.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I don't know. I guess there's one in there's some BAE Systems. Maybe it's corporate or something. There's a lot of corporate stuff on the outside of Detroit, but there's one out there in Sterling Heights. I didn't know that. No, I never really heard a lot about BAE, dude. No.
Don't they have some radar thing too, Mike? Do you know about that? Maybe not.
No, I can't say I know much about that.
All right, well, let's continue on then.
Are any of you willing
All right,
to...
so then now we're into this whole like gatekeeper naming thing, and now we're on George Knapp. I think I got a little meme for him. I can't play it too long ago because it'll get copyrighted. Let's see.
I'm gonna steal me a silver stallion.
A nice little jam sesh there at Bombshells. This is where he names the gatekeepers. Woohoo. While this was happening live, this was just the drama was there. And apparently, I've been lurking on all the other streams today. Apparently, the director for the Knapp movie was there, and apparently he directed like the most recent Jurassic Park or something like that. So that's interesting. But yeah.
Name specific gatekeepers within the root cell. Are any of you willing to name specific gatekeepers within the root cell of the UAP SAP Federation?
You mean specific people and contractors that have dealt with us and kept the secret?
Specific individuals.
Well, one of them was named Dr. James Rhyder at Lockheed. But, again, to emphasize, I don't fault these contractors for doing what they were asked to do by our government. They're supposed to lie if people ask about it. And the intelligence agencies who gave this stuff to them,
he's
CIA.
being a bootlicker right now?
Oh, man. Don't give him a pass, George. Don't give him a pass.
Yeah.
I think primarily told them to keep it quiet, and they've done that. And I suspect that they'd like an off-ramp, that they'd like some help with figuring out this technology at some point.
And this is, again, available to anyone, is there a security classification guide for UAP or NHI?
I remember in the 2003 or 2023 hearing, it was stated that all UAP related material is classified secret or above.
I have a name for you.
Go ahead.
Glenn Gaffney, CIA.
Glenn Gaffney. So do you guys know about this first guy, James Rhyder, at all?
Lockheed Martin, right?
Yeah, dead already.
Yep.
Dead. He has some interesting.
I don't know if
talks
he's dead.
online. I'm pretty sure he's dead. He might not be dead. If not, getting there. He has some like interesting talks online. I think about like God and souls and all this kind of like interesting things for somebody like to be named that to have. And then Glenn Gaffney. Honestly, I want to talk to Glenn Gaffney because I feel like he's low-key been hella demonized and no one's heard from him. And a lot of the people, not Nat necessarily, but like, for example, Lou Elizondo, right? He had Matt Ford enter into the record during the last string, but like Glenn Gaffney's a piece of shit. What's also interesting about this whole Glenn Gaffney thing is it was when Matt Ford released his, not the Glenn Gaffney one, but the one right before it where it's all connected, where he said the CIA Office of Special Access. That's when he released that story. That's when he had his weird gang stalking street theater event that happened at that hotel. Which now I don't know if you guys saw this week. The Liberation Times is writing about it too now. Telling you guys, gang stalking is about to become a mainstream fucking word in this community. But yeah, interesting. And again, if you go back 2 streams ago where you watch me and Tuba kind of go through that whole event. I personally think Lou is the one who did this weirdo little op on him, especially because there's like other people who've had similar experiences surrounding Lou. So I don't even know if Glenn Gaffney's like evil or not. But again, I just find it interesting that when Matt Ford released this information, he had this weird event at a hotel where he felt like it's called street theater. It's where people drop little like nuggets of information about you. Well, I'll just run through it real quick. The day the story comes out, Matt Ford says his contact, who I suspect is Luis Elizondo, says, "Hey, there's got to be real careful. You might get honeypotted over this." That night, Matt Ford goes to a hotel in Vegas that he wasn't paying for, so somebody else knew where he was. And he goes to the bar, and there's a girl at the bar, and I think they talk about UFOs a little bit, and then this dude comes, and he talks about UFOs with them, and Matt Ford, I guess, is like, have you heard about this new story about that I wrote or whatever? And then the guy was like, no, but I've heard Lou Elizondo like is a liar, right? And Matt Ford, when he tells the story, you should go watch it. He's like all shook up and stuff like that. But while this is happening, his little Signal group chat is being like, yeah, you're totally being honeypotted right now, dude. And so just kind of like feeding into it, which I don't know, maybe he called it right. Maybe Lou called it right and was like, you're going to get honeypotted today. Or maybe Lou set that up and was feeding into it. But either way, that's related to that thing. So fun times. Let's see what else we got here.
The one name I do want to bring up in this session though is Robert Bigelow. So looking into the idea of crash retrievals and reverse engineering, while OSAP, that program, was active, the DIA's contractor, Robert Bigelow of Las Vegas, made a bold attempt to acquire physical proof of UFO crashes. It's been widely reported and suspected that Lockheed Martin is one of the contractors, the defense contractors, that has held this stuff, stored it away in secrecy, and tried to figure out how it works. I have confirmed on the record that Robert Bigelow and a trusted colleague from OSAP met with and negotiated with senior executives at Lockheed Martin and hammered out a deal wherein Bigelow's company, Bass, would receive a quantity of unusual material that had been stashed away and protected at a facility in California. That material was not made here.
Yeah, we've heard about this a lot. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know.
Could that have been James Ryder, the guy from Lockheed? Because he left Lockheed in 2011. He was a vice president. That's pretty high up.
Well, and also I think a lot of them put Glenn Gaffney on this.
Yeah.
Somehow, right? Glenn Gaffney like fucked it all up. That's why they all hate Glenn Gaffney.
He stopped it. Yeah, he stopped it, but they could have been doing the negotiations originally with this Ryder guy.
Is that even true though? Because I've only really heard it from like Lou Elizondo, and I'm
just no. I mean, we're talking about it though.
No, I know. You know? But I'm just thinking out loud there too. Oh, Tracy Scott, lovely super chat. Make sure you liked and shared so I'll get the truth out. Love to all. Thank you, Tracy. But yeah, no, I mean, this is a story we hear floated around Disclosure Land all the time. It's interesting. I guess it's cool that it's in the record. Hopefully he's not. Well, I mean, we're about to talk about Lazar, so maybe he is willing to talk about stuff in Congress that is not necessarily the most truthful.
I just remember Grusch talking about this on Rogan the first time. That's where I heard it.
Yeah, I remember that too. I should make a little supercut of all the different people talking about this.
Or again, Grusch.
Grusch, yeah, exactly. Mike, any thoughts on this thing before we continue on here? Don't worry, towards the end it gets quicker because it's a bunch.
No, I mean, it's pretty obvious to me Lockheed Martin would be involved, and if I would think the executives are involved, and if he's a vice president, I agree with Terrestrial. You know, he's a vice president, definitely would have known.
Yeah, for sure. What do we got next here?
It almost looks like Arrow.
Oh, so Arrow's already been catching strays. I was going to try and do a supercut of all the Arrow shit talking, but it was just taking too long. But here we go. Let's see.
It is a counterintelligence operation to get people to come in, tell their stories, and then discredit all of them. I can't imagine that any whistleblower or witness will ever go to Arrow again because of what happened under the first director, who's now long gone, but still seems to act as the spokesperson for that organization.
And I would say, Madam Chair, maybe at some point we need to really dig deep into Arrow, and I would encourage us.
Oh, I'd be happy to send maybe a subpoena to Mr. Kilpatrick.
That'd be him.
Kilpatrick with the clap.
Follow the data and the evidence where it leads. If you don't like where it leads, don't call me a liar and then come after me. This is evidentiary scientific methodology and intelligence tradecraft. This is how the world works. This is how the world works.
Get him.
Dude, there's no way he didn't see that and laugh. Come on.
How do you think Kirkpatrick was feeling watching this hearing, dude? She called him Kill. Did she just forget, or she's doing that on purpose, right? Kilpatrick? That was odd. Let's run that back real quick, actually. Fuck it.
It almost looks like Arrow operated as a counterintelligence operation to get people to come in, tell their stories, and then discredit all of them. I can't imagine that any whistleblower or witness will ever go to Arrow again because of what happened under the first director, who's now long gone, but still seems to act as the spokesperson for that organization.
And I would say, Madam Chair, maybe at some point we need to really dig deep into Arrow, and I would encourage us.
Oh, I'd be happy to send maybe a subpoena to Mr. Kilpatrick.
That'd be him. Mr.
Kilpatrick. She said it 3 times that way, and I've definitely heard her in Matt Laszlo ask a couple things refer to him as Kirkpatrick. So I don't know what that's about. A little sus. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. There was a quote, or at least he's been quoted saying that he would actually go speak to them, but they just never asked. So,
yeah, that's
I don't
another
know.
thing too, right? He's like, I tried to speak with these dudes a bunch of times, and every time
Yeah.
they're ghosting me, right? Very odd. Very, very odd. But also at the same time, too, I'm not saying they're perfect. I've heard from other people that like, yeah, I went there and they just, kind of shit on me. So I mean, they never got back to Ashton, right? You know what I mean? About the MH370 videos. So
that's what the next hearing should be. It should be Kirkpatrick, Lukatsky, Gaffney, and Grusch, dude. Get them all in there together to talk.
Right. Oh, Zelda with the Canadian dollars. Thank you, Zelda. And one day we'll get the old Skyfire money things. Is there something? We'll hit the Luna. Here we go.
I've reached out to some of the biggest names in UFO lore. Okay, they all got skiff flu, and we call it skiff.
Okay. All right.
Back in 1989,
All right, so Bob Lazar.
I reported about a guy named Bob Lazar, who claimed that he worked at a facility dubbed S4 out in the Nevada desert, very near to Area 51. He said he was part of a reverse engineering program. He said there are alien craft that will be taken apart to figure out how they operated out there. And that was a pretty tall order. I had clearly taken a dive into the deep end of the pool there. But in the years since then, I've interviewed dozens of other people, and I've detailed what their testimony has been.
And real quick, I'm just gonna hit this real quick. Let's see.
What do you think of like David Grusch coming forward?
That's dynamite. I mean, it really is. I can only hope that some more people come out.
Would you talk in front of Congress if I set that up? Would you give your testimony under those same circumstances under oath? Would you throw down one last time?
I fought the fight for 30 years, and I'm kind of happy the way it is now. The last thing I want to do is stir the pot again. So yeah. I can say under oath everything I said before is true.
I forgot this one has the little intro thing there. Just give one little second,
Ever since I could remember, I wanted to be a gangster.
We have a lineup and all the girls come out and then he picks which one he likes.
In a legal brothel. Those early days in Vegas were some of the best times of my life. We lived like kings and didn't have a care in the world.
That interest eventually led to some work he did for a small bordello in a residential Las Vegas neighborhood.
We did what we wanted to do, when we wanted to do it, and however we wanted. And although dealing with prostitutes and Johns could be difficult, they were easy work compared to what was to come. There's several, actually 9 flying saucers.
All right, what did you guys think? Bob got mentioned at the hearing, dude.
Oh, Bob, as you know, my avatar, I honor him. Everything
Oh yeah, you're Bob.
homage,
Are
right?
you all in on Bob though? I feel like
I'm all in. I mean, I'm all in.
Why
to
didn't
the
you sound
point that he was
confident when
on
you said
base.
that? You didn't. That wasn't a confident. You're like, I'm all in.
All right, well, I'm all in to the point where I think he was on base and he got psyoped, but I don't.
Our lovely
that's
mod
about as
here,
far as it goes.
Good Morning UFO says, I've always believed the story of Bob Lazar. I just don't think it happened to Bob Lazar. Hi, Jess. Oh, that's a good one. And she also says, Lazar took the fall for the real scientists who worked on the craft. They pushed out the story with Bob because Bob wasn't going to be affected by the backlash the scientists did. That's an interesting take. I don't know. So sorry, Mike, I kind of cut you off there. You were happy to see this?
Amazed. I could not believe that Bob Lazar, and you know, in the letter to Congress that they mentioned John Lear. That was the first name that they mentioned, right? And Panda, we went over this in the last stream.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, good. I could not believe that John Lear got mentioned. The guy who thought there's 2 million people on the moon.
Yeah, but when I see that clip of Lear sitting in the back of the little truck there and Bob and them out there, I tell you what, it would have been fun to jump in a time machine, go back there and hang out with them. You know, it would have been fun.
Probably be the most fun of all the people to go back and
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, look, I wanted George to talk about the 115, at least like give them the location where he thinks it is, or at least thought it was. I mean, what have you, but I wish I would have come up more. It doesn't. But yeah, it was interesting to see Lear brought up, of course, or Lazar.
Does it open us up for any potential vectors of discreditation for our entire movement? Maybe. What do we got next here?
This is a huge file. How
now
in the
the Russia
world did
stuff.
you smuggle this out of Russia?
Carefully.
When he was holding that up, I was like just thinking like butt phone.
In your socks?
No, I don't think I want to be really specific about it because I might have to go back there and get some more sometime. Although, no, that'd be crazy to do that. Well, I took the top pages off that were stamped with the security signature, and I carried them out on my person. But the rest of them, I just threw in my suitcase and threw some caviar in there as a distraction as well, and hoped for the best. Otherwise, I'd be a citizen of Siberia right now.
How did you manage to obtain the classified Russian UAP documents, and how did you get them back in the United States?
Well, I met this Russian physicist who was in the United States.
And I want to clarify that I can't even take a thing of honey home on my airplane when I fly back to Tennessee.
Yeah,
so
I did something pretty dumb,
and I'm bitter about it. But go ahead.
I did something kind of dumb. I met with these officials who, you know, during that time period, Glasnost, Perestroika, the Russians were trying to open up to the world. And I saw it as a window of opportunity, and it was. And we were able to talk these folks into providing us information that otherwise we would never have seen. Some of that was classified. I found out that they only stamped the top pages of these documents that were classified. So I just removed them. I removed those pages, and I carried them out. And if they'd caught me, I'd be in a gulag still.
Yeah. We'd be saying, what happened to George Knapp? Oh, yeah.
How much of these alleged Russian crash retrieval documents have already been physically out there? So, I mean, percentage-wise of the documents that you submitted to Congress, what was public already and what was not newly released?
Maybe 1%.
Okay, so the rest of it should be predominantly new information.
Yep.
Also, can you just elaborate real quick? I know you had, I think, mentioned a Thread 3 program, but also alleged in those documents, I got through maybe half of them last night. There's a lot, and I don't speak Russian, contrary to what my people might allege. What does the Thread 3, was there any specific programs that existed within the Soviet government or groups to specifically investigate this by name real quick?
It's a number. There's a number in those documents I gave you. There was a larger program that actually had 3 sub-programs that was, Thread 3 was the name I...
What do you guys think, broad topic about that? And then I got, I think, 2 examples of some more in-depth Russian stuff you talked about. Now we could just...
Fascinating. I mean, obviously the Russians have programs, and I would like to see more information on this. I would like to see somebody else go back and try to get more, but yeah, obviously the Russians have stuff.
Yeah, and something that I didn't put in here, but it is on my backup channel, clipped a bunch of the highlights out, was that he was talking about the reprisals to the people who helped him get the info. And I also think that this is what his movie is going to be about. I don't know. What do you guys think his movie is going to be more about, Lazar or about this Russia thing?
I forgot he was doing a movie. That's right. Well, he just did a TV show, didn't he?
The director was there, and apparently this might even be the director. The director was for the recent Jurassic Park or something. I was listening to Gerb stream, and I guess Gerb was saying how he like talked to him and stuff at the hearing. The director for the upcoming Knapp movie.
Oh yeah, because I guess I'm thinking of the TV show that he did that had like the orb.
No,
in the
there's like
water
a
or
whole
whatever.
biopic, bro. Might be.
We're supposed to get the Art Bell one too. We're gonna get the Art Bell one too, right?
Oh, that'll be fun. No, Jonah Hill should definitely be Art Bell. It would be a good nap.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see more of these Russian documents, right? I think they said 99% of them no one's seen. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get any of that stuff or not, if Congress is going to hold that shit.
What's that one Russian document that's all about like the Nazi Ananabe stuff? You know what I'm talking about? Not Zodiac.
Not off the top of my head.
It reminds me of that word though. Well, I'm curious if those are related or not. If anyone knows, let me know. But yeah, all right, continuing along.
There was an incident in October of 1982 over at ICBM base where UFOs popped up, was observed over this base where the missiles are pointed at us, United States. These UFOs perform incredible maneuvers. They split apart, they fuse back together, they'd appear and disappear. And right at the end of this 4-hour period, the launch control codes for the ICBMs lit up. Something entered the correct codes. The missiles were fired up and ready to launch, and they could not shut it down. The Russian officers were panicking. The UFOs they disappeared. The launch control system goes back.
Yes, thank you, Goblin Mode. It was the Project Orion documents, which I'm curious if those are part of this or not. But yeah, this is another interesting story, right? We've all heard it, but to hear it in Congress, right? And I think this is kind of something they're doing to just kind of like launder the thing, kind of like with the mummies or with the Mars thing. It's like, we won't talk about that. The same shit probably happens over here. We'll just talk about that's happening in Russia too, just for now, you know, just for now.
To normal. Colonel Sokolov and his team came in, took the thing apart, could not figure out what it was. It wasn't a power surge or EMPs or some of the baloney excuses that our country has given for similar events involving our nuclear missiles. They thought it was a message from wherever the UFOs were from. And that's a chilling thing. I mean, we were a couple of seconds away from World War III starting.
So this is getting into the shit I love, the doomering, because I just think it's real. I mean, I don't know, dude. What is to be made? Right over here, we're like, oh, they turned off our nukes. They're hippies. But over there, apparently they turned them on, trying to instigate shit.
I mean, they could have also turned them on over here, and we just haven't talked about it yet.
That's what I think totally happened. But what about the concept, just that the NHI, if we're just to take this all at face value, is turning on nukes?
It knows.
It's whipping people up, right? It loves a good loosh war, dude.
Are you afraid?
I'm
Like they ask him about the video. I ask everybody, "Are you afraid, Mike? Are you afraid, Red?"
A little bit, dude, a little bit. And then we got this other some more doomering coming from Russia.
I'll go refer back to Russia. One incident I did not mention to Representative Burlison is Colonel Sokolov in that Ministry of Defense program said there were 40 incidents where Russian warplanes were sent to intercept UFOs, and they were ordered to fire on them. And for the most part, the UFOs would zip away. 3 of the pilots, though, did fire at these things. Those 3 planes stalled out, crashed. 2 of those pilots died. And after that, the Russians changed the standing order. If you see a UFO, leave them alone.
So I think in the Grusch one, they alluded to maybe injuries or whatnot, but I think this is the most overt we've ever heard of, like, UFOs killed people. And again, you know, just the doomer count here, we got abductions being talked about. We got a video of us trying to kill an alien, allegedly, potentially, and us being unable to. We got aliens turning on our nukes to try and instigate conflict and send a message to us. And
I mean, it looks like we're at war with them almost, right?
I think we are, dude. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the stuff that they do to us, if other humans did to us, you know what I mean? It'd be, I don't know how else you would consider it. Isn't even from the Tic Tac thing or whatever they said, something about interfering with the radar, like that's considered an act of war. Like, we've low-key been at war. Maybe not, though. I don't know. But yeah, they're killing us. Or at least they're killing Russians. We're still safe over here in America. They love America. They love cheeseburgers. Okay, the last one's.
I see Matthew Brown in the audience.
Just shout outs. I was just curious what you guys thought of the shout outs here.
Audience, he courageously stepped forward and was as a witness. I encourage everybody to look and seek his testimony. I want to thank the people that came in our first hearing: Ryan Graves, David Grusch, David Fravor, and in our second hearing, Admiral Gallaudet, Lou Elizondo, and Mr. Gold, and the many others that have come forward. We hear you, and it's time that enough is enough. It's time that we take action.
So he shouted out everyone except Schellenberg. You think that was on accident or no?
Schellenberger's whipping Chardonnay bottles, dude.
Dude, and here's the craziest part. I guess these go together. not only did he leave out Schellenberger, what a hell of a steal for Burlison right there. Stone Burley, I like that. Like, just took a fat dab and just thinking about like the Angels, bro.
So, Mr. Knapp, we were definitely going to watch every documentary. You guys have done you and Jeremy have done a terrific job. I think we all do, and you guys are doing a terrific job to bring information to the public by the U.S. government.
Entirely possible. I mean,
I don't know why I cut it like that. I just kind of wanted the first part to, but I was odd. So we got Burlison ignoring Schellenberger, and then we got Nancy Mace, who, let's remind everyone what happened last hearing, just a little bit, real quick.
Congress just lied to the American public. Why? What was the lie? Oh, I submitted the IC document. Ask Schellenberger, he'll tell you. But everybody sat there as they said he did. Why? Nancy Mace lied. Nancy Mace said Schellenberger gave her. Oh, I'm fucking going. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm fucking going to look everybody in the fucking eye. Yeah, whoever fucking lied, I'm going to say it in front of everybody.
You gave him the Jake Barber eyes there.
So, like, Corbell's been spending the past year, like, shitting on Mace, shitting on Congress, kind of. So it's kind of odd to see Mace be like, you did such a great job. I thought she'd be pissed or something, you know, want the smoke back. But I guess we're retconning Schellenberger. That didn't happen.
I thought so too. It was weird to see her say that to me. Yeah, but maybe, I don't know. Same thing with Burlison. He kind of big ups everybody here. He probably just figures there's no point in kind of making certain enemies, I guess, with this right now. He's just still trying to take in all the information. So especially if they know that they brought that video, and that could be something where Mace was like, oh, they brought this new Hellfire video. Maybe that turned her around to them and she kind of forgave the situation. No?
I was listening to the Gerb stream. Gerb's like all in on the, or not all in. I don't want to like misrepresent it, but it sounded like they were kind of like, it's a given that like Schellenberger's shady with the way that that whole thing went down, which I don't know if that's still, I would love to hear Schellenberger talk about everything. Watching the TMZ special with Schellenberger. Oh, that'd be fire, bro. Like a little DVD commentary type thing. That'd be dope.
Oh yeah.
Let's see who else got a shout out.
Years. I can only imagine how frustrated Mr. Knapp is.
See, when I clipped this morning, it was before I learned that these two dudes in particular had each rolled up with like a posse of like 10 people and like cut a bunch of people in line.
Jaime rolls deep, bro.
Dude, crazy.
Or Danny Sheehan is, and the amount of time that you guys have poured into this to try to get answers. I mean, Maussan is back there. He's been pouring to try to get answers into this. I hope that you all see that we're committed to this.
Did I? Oh, we're gonna have to go to. Let me just real quick for my X account. Here we go. Boom.
Madam Chair, I also have further witnesses of courageous individuals. It was given to me by Dr. Stephen Greer, including Michael Herrera and his testimony. We have Roderick Castle and his testimony, Randy Anderson, his testimony, Stephen Digna, and others, 3 others, all saying similar things to what the witnesses today have said. And I would like to enter that into the record as well.
So Greer got the shout out, and I'm thinking like, I feel like Grusch had to co-sign this, right? I feel like Grusch is on board with this, you think, or no? You think Burlison still got some like rogue
yeah,
himself?
I think Grusch is on board with it.
Which is cool. That's interesting. I just like to be aware of all the different dynamics that play in this conversation. So, you know, interesting, you know.
I still think he's still kind of looking at everything, though. I still think he's leaving himself room to make his own. Yeah.
He hopped in a Tupa space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
What was that, Hood Rat Disclosure?
Yeah, he's hopping in Hood Rat Disclosure, going to see the mummies. He's, you know, hanging out with Greer and the boys here. Yeah, dude. Burlison's killing it, man.
The Randy Anderson story, though, is rough. That was a weird one.
Oh, I never really took the time to deep dive it that hard. But that's where all this Naval Station Crane stuff comes from, right?
No, I think the Randy Anderson one was where he's saying that it's set on the wall, the little plaque that said off-world technology just on the door frame. Like, I don't know. I think that was him with the language or whatever.
Jesse Michaels, right? Did he do anything else or just that one?
Not sure.
All right.
Well, I only seen the Jesse Michaels one.
I think we got just a few last ones here of just interesting statements. Let's see.
In the effort of transparency here, I got to admit to the witnesses that, you know, growing up, I really never believed in UFOs or any of this stuff. I always thought it was a little kooky and whatnot. But, you know, after hearing, you know, your testimony from honorable service members, watching videos like my colleague, Mr. Burlison, just presented, you know, I got to admit, I've become a believer. Not that I know where these things come from or, you know, what they really are up to, but
so it's kind of interesting just kind of seeing the process happen, right? Like a fellow congressman going from skeptic to believer. It's the dance we've all been doing in this disclosure land. Some of the,
of course,
yeah, right.
He said, I think that if the American people want to see answers, we need to action. We've had the hearings. It's time to take action. It's time that we pass Tim Burchett's Whistleblower Act. It's time that we pass the UAP Disclosure Act. And I think that we've had a lot of talk about this. It's time for action.
So activated. I didn't even get the clip, but there was one time in the hearing where he sounded like he was yelling, but yeah, promoting the UAP Disclosure Act. I mean, definitely the time to do that, right? So, I kind of like the energy of like, okay, we're done having hearings. Let's move now. And honestly, they kind of killed it with their questions and stuff. When you look at this group compared to like the questions and how it was all going with the Grusch one, they seem like polished in the UFO. You know what I mean? They've been in the UFO land now for like 2-3 years now, right? So, you know what I mean? They're not little first years. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I think that I think especially Burlison, I mean, Luna probably the same, and probably others too. They kind of realized they can do 50 more of these hearings with these stories, but it's really not going to move the ball at all. Like, right. I mean, they're going to have to like go ahead and get something tangible to go ahead and pursue. And I think that's why he's really looking forward to that UAP Disclosure Act, because he thinks, obviously eminent domain is in there. I mean, it's
that's
controversial.
I like the video. I feel like if Lou was just running them, that video wouldn't have come out for like another 5 hearings, right? I feel like they're like, yo, we gotta keep it moving.
Well, I mean, Lou's been putting stuff out, but it's been duds,
yeah,
all times.
Big
I mean, none of it's been
duds.
helpful. Yeah, I mean, it's really bad. I mean, there hasn't even been anything like how quick was that debunked versus this video here. I mean, it's not even close. And
yeah, and the funny thing was that I saw him on News Nation like trying to be skeptical about it. I was like, bro, you're the last person to be like, hey, maybe we need to be calm. I mean, you're the first one, but it's just funny coming from you, bro. It's like, all right, let's see. So yeah, Rep Luna, a nice little statement from her. And they got one more from Burlison. We're done. Hour and a half. Nice.
Has also been presented with evidence that points to technologies that in recent months, Congress has also been presented with evidence that points to technologies that to our knowledge are beyond our current capabilities. It is our duty as elected representatives to follow the facts wherever they lead and to ensure that those facts are not buried under classification stamps or bureaucratic excuses. Let me be clear, whether UAPs represent adversarial technology, natural phenomena, or something beyond current human understanding, Congress has a responsibility to investigate. If these objects are foreign in origin, then they pose a direct threat to our national security. And if they represent something unknown, they demand rigorous scientific inquiry, not ridicule, not secrecy, and not silence. The stakes are very high. Adversarial nations are not waiting for us to catch up. They are studying these phenomena as well aggressively, as multiple nations have also announced their own parliamentary investigations into this very topic. If we are to continue to hide information from ourselves, we risk strategic surprise. If we continue to...
But yeah, the main point of that one is that she'd seen stuff that convinced her. And we'll end with this one from Burlison. This was a nice little quote.
Look, I'm not jumped to the conclusion that I believe that there are, aliens coming from another planet. But I'm open to that. And I think that it's our responsibility, especially when we're seeing that we have a government that is actively blocking information from us. Just last night, I tried to get an amendment onto the National Defense Authorization Act that fit in the germaneness of that bill to have UAP disclosure. And conveniently, it was named non-germane, mostly deemed by staff, not even an elected official. This is the kind of stuff that we repeatedly see. Last year, we were blocked by someone in House administration from being able to receive a full briefing from Arrow. So
I never heard him piss like that, but the beginning part is what I wanted to hone in on.
Look, I'm not jumped to the conclusion that I believe that there are, aliens coming from another planet. But I'm open to that.
There you go. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What were some of the highlights? How are we feeling? I'm feeling good about the hearing still, honestly.
Great. No,
amazing,
I think
right?
This was a great hearing. I think free from Lou Elizondo. You know what I mean? Like, love him or hate him, I think he did the right thing in stepping away and letting this happen the way it should have happened. I would have liked to seen Grusch obviously, speak, but I'm glad to see him even there. And I would say the highlight of this is really George Knapp. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
The video is probably the second runner up. If not, maybe that was the most interesting thing, was the Hellfire missile video.
Yeah. If it doesn't get debunked, that's definitely what I'm thinking is the top. And then I don't know. The witnesses
Yeah,
are good.
I'm with the
what do you think?
video. I'm with the video being the top. I mean, at the end of the day, the general public, that's what they care about. The stories are cool, but we've had stories for 80 years. That's not really what's going to move the public at this point. They're just gonna go for the proof, right? They're gonna go for the video, the photos, the craft, the body. So that kind of stuff is always what I'm looking for. But the one thing I really liked about this hearing, though, even though we didn't get, full disclosure or anything like that, this was, if you're a big fan of UFOs, I think you've enjoyed this hearing, man. We got to hear things like Lockheed Martin. We got to hear people like Gaffney be called out, or talk about, the Russia files and stuff like that. Even hearing Bob Lazar, like being able to hear this ufology lore and all this stuff actually said in a congressional setting, rather than just having an entire hearing of, I can't tell you, I got to tell you only in a skiff. To be able to hear people speak and tell stories that would seem convincing enough that these people at least believe what they saw, that's a big difference. And I think that's really why it stood out.
I'll say real quick too. I'm not happy, but I don't know what the word to use is. I'm glad that it's getting more doomery, because I do think that is a total element of this thing. But question for the panel, and then we'll close it out. If I was to go through and do a little counter of how many times each person said skiff between David Grusch in his hearing, Lou Elizondo in his hearing, or Dylan Borland in his hearing, who do you guys think would win?
Probably Lou Elizondo in his.
Yeah, Lou by himself. He probably has more skiffs than all the hearings combined.
That'd be a funny video. I'm already
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm imagining it with the music from Mario Kart when you're like supered up or whatever, you know what I mean? Like skip. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for being here. That was hella fun.
Thanks for the invite, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
This damn hearing, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. See you guys for another decade, right? The series is gonna keep us going for a long time. But yeah, man. All right, I'll catch you guys probably in space or something. Thank you so much.
Later.
All right, see you, Mike. See you, Rob.
Yeah, later.
And thank you, everyone. Bye, guys. Thank you to the super chats too, Tracy Scott and Zelda. Peace. Woo.